My heart rapidly contracts. The medical bell sound echoes through the room. Nervously approach the telephone and once again pick up the receiver. Daddy, help me. It's Cheryl! There's no mistaking it. I firmly press the receiver against my ear. Daddy, where are you? Cheryl! Is this Cheryl? At that moment, Cheryl's voice is replaced with a busy signal. I knew it! I think Cheryl was here. Being located in the residential area, many children probably come to the school. The interior of the elementary school is larger than I imagined. Including the classroom, there are a lot of rooms, so locating Cheryl will be extremely difficult. If Cheryl wasn't brought here by someone, and instead came here of her own free, well then, perhaps she might be in that one room. Spin around and run to the stairs at the end of the hall, and then sprint up them. I've come to the library. My eyes are drawn to the open book here. It was a children's book. Picked up the book and seeing an abstract illustration of a youth carrying a bow and arrow. Someone has been reading the book. I began to read the book from the beginning of the page. It was left open in a quiet voice. Hearing this, the hunter armed with bow and arrow said, I will kill you, the lizard. But upon meeting his opponent, he held back, taunting. Who's afraid of reptile? At this, the furious lizard hissed. I'll swallow you up in a single bite. Then the huge creature attacked, jaws wide open. This was what the man wanted. Calmly drawing his bow, he shot into the lizard's gaping mouth. Effortlessly, the arrow flew, piercing the defense maw. The lizard fell down dead. Yay! This is from an old fairy tale. I remember reading it as a kid. As I say this, I take a step back, as if I just realized something. Wait, I think I become gripped with the sense that my actions have been controlled by someone the entire time. Coming to the library, seeing the specific page on the book, even whatever it is I must do now is a decision that is out of my hands. Everything that has happened to me in someone's hands. I've been gradually come to understand this. Even still, I probably cannot determine my own course. I accept the direction of the unseen one to whom I must obey. In order to find Cheryl, there is no other alternative. I now know where it is I need to go. As I journeyed there, I walked, firmly stepping forward. One step at a time, I descended a staircase from which uncomfortable warm air flows in and find elevator. Its base that it invites me to descend even further as its doors slowly open. Once I entered its doors, and in the next moment, with a rusty clunk sound, the elevator begins to descend at a high rate of speed. Just how far down it is going? Well, all I can do is go with the flow. What in the world? Gradually, the elevator and I are enveloped in a hot humid air. The elevator stops, and I step off as its door opened beyond a short passage, dazzling. The light from a small room which had been waiting for my arrival. In the center, the fires of hell burned, and everything made it look like this room was meant for prayer. And then it was there. Slowly moved around the enormous sconce from which flames and ash rose. It looked to have suddenly mutated. Its outer shell, its muscular membrane, is a musculous membrane type. It just stares at me, and with surprising comfort speed, it looks for a chance to attack. Smoke and the powder emit from my handgun. I'm certain that I hit it. However, those armored-like scales must more than fulfill their purpose. Efficient at all. This is no good. I need to make my bullets hit somewhere softer. part of my memory suddenly awakened. In the book I picked up not too long ago. My opponent, as I recall, is Passage. Maw. All I can do is draw my opponent closer. Each bullet that hits its body only seems to increase its strength. I'm running, my entire body is soaked in sweat. The heat from the flames and the large amount of working... What? The perspirations are working together to rob me of my emotional strength. And then my feet finally get tangled and I fall to the bone-dry floor. Shoot it! Yep. Then, it was only for an instant, but I thought of the Passage again. Yep, broke a piece of its maw, fire into its mouth. I'll stop its... I readied the gun as calmly as position. I killed it. Why'd I kill it? Sorry, I was just something was bothering me. Okay, I'm gonna get up. Pull trigger over and over. The sound of gunshots rang from my weapon as long as I had ammunition, and then I lost consciousness. I could have found myself in the middle of a dark room. Where is this? I wondered to myself. The monster from before has vanished. I heavily stood up and then waited motionless for a bit until my eyes came into focus. Somehow, this looks to be the boiler room. It's oddly quiet. Maybe I was dreaming. My very exhausted body seems to have also recovered somehow. Oh god, did I fuck up? Shifted my gaze. The girl was standing there. She was wearing a dark blue clothing and her light brown hair was neatly combed. This girl was just staring at me. Once I noticed and began to step to her, she completely disappeared as if her body was just dissolved into the air in the room. I was alone in the room again. What was that? A strange feeling of relief? After standing for a bit, I let out a long breath and then placed my hand on my door to the entry. Sunlight is shining through the hall of the school building. As usual, the snow is still outside, but I'm gripped with a strange feeling of relief, as if cancerous cells had just been removed from me. Filled with relief, I slowly walked towards the exit of the school building, and then I learned that Cheryl is not here. From the loud sound of the church bells, it seems to call out for me. I'm gonna run towards the church on a road half covered in mud. Slowly falls above my head, some of which freezes my hair as chilly air flows by. Then I reach the church. I push open the heavenly door without resistance. Whoa! A cross is mounted on the front of the wall. Long benches are lined up on the both sides. A small walkway. It was as if time had stopped for this familiar style church. In front of the altar, a sly-looking woman with cold eyes looked down at me with an eerie grin. I walked up to her, stepping one step at a time. Gazed at me without blinking. She looked at me as she had predicted that I would arrive. "Were you ringing that bell?" the woman snorted with a himph. "I've been expecting you. It was foretold by the Gelmothy." "What are you talking about?" "I knew you'd come. You want the girl, right?" "The girl? You're talking about Cheryl." My eyes grew wide. "I see everything." "You know something. Tell me." "Stay back." The woman held the palm of her hand at me, and then lowered her chin in a way that suggested, "Please calm down. Nothing is to be gained by floundering about at random. You must follow the path of the hermit concealed by Flaros." "What What are you talking about? I asked once more, without hiding my bewilderment. Here, the Flaros, a cage of peace. It can break through the wall of darkness and counteract the wrath of the underworld. These will help you. Make haste to the hospital before it's too late. The woman held up a strange object and then softly placed it on the desk on top of the altar. Wait! Don't go yet! I will believe that the woman's story. She lives here. I chose to believe her story without objection. All that remains is in the church is the reverberations of the sound of a door closing. I go after that woman. I am convinced that woman definitely knows some secret of some sort. However, the knob on the door that she went through... You know what? I probably accidentally picked B. Will not turn. It is... Damn, now I'm the only one left in this church. Almost as if taken from a nightmare. This space has heat, this warmth, it feels like it's protecting me from something that is the best way to describe the heat. I move away from the door and begin walking to the altar. Or the altar that woman was at. The object that woman was just holding has been placed there. The Flaros. That is certainly what that woman had called this. And then I place it back on top of the desk right away. It is power. The only power of the goddess rests inside the object's four side object. It was... Oh my god. Excuse me, Jesus. Yeah, excuse me, Jesus. Anyways. It was a sensation like an electrical current passing through into the palm of my hand, and then the power moving throughout every nook and cranny of my body. In my body. I pick it up more than time. I calmly take it into my hand and then place it in my pocket. For some reason, I am convinced that this object will help me find Cheryl. Pick up the key that was next to the Flaros. Open the door of the church and then rush out into the heatless snow world again. Hospital. That woman certainly said something about one. About one. I'll come in. I don't know if this is the only one I can find on the map, and I could see my breath as I exhaled while I headed towards the entertainment district. The bridge to the entertainment district has been raised so the boats can pass by it in the river below. Oh crap! I pressed A, bro. My headphones still plugged in? Now it is. There we go. While imitating a sound like an old woman laughing, the bridge finally began to lower, inviting me to the entertainment district. After crossing the bridge, I shudder. The temperature is gradually declining. Or maybe it's just a result of the thing inside me that produces nervous and fear. On this wide road, there is not a single motorcycle running. I'm running right down the center of it. If I continue forward, Alchemy Hospital should be on the right. Old building appears in a thick fog. On the side, Alchemy appears in the faded letters. Its eerie caused me to hesitate for an instant. But in the next moment, I placed my hand on the cold gate. I opened the heavy hospital gate and then opened the door directly to my right. That has entrance written on it. Inside the hospital, it is wrapped in silence. To the left, there's a reception area in which various papers are neatly placed on a shelf. Waiting benches are lined up along the back of this hall, and a television is pointed at them. I do not feel the presence of any patients or even any people. Only faint light pours in through the windows from the cloudy skies. The hall is filled with a trace scent of alcohol, which penetrates my nose. I begin walking after pressing through the waiting room. I reached a longer corridor. I opened the door marked examination room. At almost the exact same time as I opened the door, a man inside jumped out of his chair. He's holding a handgun in the right hand. Let's hide. Wait! I hold my right hand out to try and stop the man. Hold it. Stop. Don't shoot. Wait. I'm not here to fight. The man calms down and lowers his readied right arm. My name is Harry Mason. I'm in the town on vacation. I said all of this without pausing, and then the man took a deep breath and began to speak. Thank God, another human being. Do you work here? I was truly relieved. Silent Hill, which has become a habit for strange monsters, those words showed his candid questions of the situation. I'm Dr. Michael Kaufman. I work at the hospital, so maybe you can tell me what's going on? The man who can't call himself Kaufman once again rears in the chair he is sitting in. I really can't say. I was taking a nap in the staff room, and then when I woke up, it was like this. Everyone seems to have disappeared, and it's snowing out this time of year. Looks off at the floor. And on the floor, the corpse of a still warm monster is laying there. Something's gone seriously wrong. Did you see those monsters? Have you ever seen such a operation? I would just call it abomination. Ever even heard of such a thing? You and I both know creatures like that don't exist. Yeah. Then I turned to face them as I realized something. Have you seen a little girl around here? I mean, anywhere? I'm looking for my daughter. She's only 7. Short, black hair. She's missing? I'm so sorry. With all those monsters around here, I highly doubt that she's... Sorry, I didn't mean to alarm you. Your wife, she's here with you? She died 4 years ago. Now it's just me and my daughter. I see. I'm sorry. Well, I'd better be going. I can't just sit around here doing nothing. So long. Good luck out there. Shuts tirelessly. Dr. Michael Kaufman. Oddly enough, I have completely memorized that name. Huh? I suddenly noticed that there's something on the floor that looks like a white scrap of paper. What is this? I pick up the letter. Has been disoriented scribbles on it. Arrival tomorrow morning. Be prepared. What is this? Leave the examination room. Kaufman is nowhere to be found. I begin to run past the medicine room and reached a planked floor corridor that is in an L-shaped. I moved forward and found that there was an elevator with a large door at the end of the corridor. I try pressing the buttons beside it. Nothing happens. It looks like the power is off. There are several doors in the corridor. I begin opening each one in order. I open the door marked meeting room. Head aside, close the door behind me. A large table. Yeah. You can kind of see it. There is something glittering on the top of it. Grasp the light green key. Leave the room and once again step into the chilly corridor. Next room looks like it's a kitchen. I guess that's where all the food patrons is. Probably prepared here. Various bronze cooking utensils are neatly arranged. Doesn't appear that there's anything terribly important in here. Carefully look through the various cooking utensils. Inside a large pot is nothing at all. Taking a search to see if there's anything might be a clue. On the floor, various objects scattered about. I carefully move forward on the wet floor as it's not to slip. Something is there. I reached out with my hand towards the thing in front of me. Picked up a knife that appears to be used for kitchen. Perhaps this will come in handy for something. I only have a limited number of bullets. When the time comes, I might be able to use this as a weapon. I left the kitchen. open the door, and the reverberation of the sounds of it opening and then closing shake my eardrums. The walls are made of concrete, and a few steps in the staircase leading to the basement extends like the folds inside the body of a snake. It is dark and difficult to see, but it looks like there is a door at the bottom of the staircase. Be brave, I muttered to myself, leaving only the echoes of my footsteps. I descended down the staircase to one hell step at a time, and then I opened the door, leading to the darkness. See that the electricity was most likely out in the entire hospital. I pressed the switch on the flashlight on my chest, and try light in the area. Creepy again. There's nothing noticeable out of this place. Chilly air drifts, yeah. I'm cold. Well, moving through the corridor, I try opening the doors as I come to them. Emergency generator is written on the machine that occupies most of the room. To reach the search and above, it did not look like there was any method other than using the elevator. So, without hesitation, I turn the machine on. I press the up button. The heavy sounds of the motor and the sounds of the metal charging with each other almost sound like intertwined screams with a ding. The side of the elevator is large. It seems to be big enough to accept 3 hospital beds. Buttons for each floor are lined up to right at the elevator door. They're marked 3, 2, 1, and B from top down. First, I head to the second floor. However, after I step onto the elevator, I find that the door connected to the corridor that leads to the rooms on the floor is locked with no alternative. I try heading to the third floor, but I find it is in the same state. Well, what now? I have already tried moving to every floor, with nothing else to do. I re-entered the elevator and then could not believe my eyes. One of the buttons for each floor, 3 was definitely the highest floor before that, but then a 4 has been added. The elevator doors open with a familiar sound, and I step out foundation floor door. Again, I think a condition extremely similar to which I encountered as a basement, and the clock tower at the elementary school was present right in front of me. Dark red rusted walls, metal grated floors, and a ringing in my ears that seemed to creep out from the depths of hell is a menace to my mental state. I open the door in front of me, and a long corridor extends beyond it. I very carefully move forward while keeping my eyes fixed on the wall. Could Cheryl be here? The only way to find out is to search the place. Huh? I'm sorry for yawning. I can hear something in the darkness in front of me. It sounds like the groan of something. Oh no! It's slowly closing in on me, but I cannot see what it is. I'm sure with the faint light of the flashlight, I can instantly ready my gun. Probably not human. I firmly grip the gun position on my finger and begin to walk towards it with the gun right beside my face. What was that? Oh, I thought something was weird. Eventually, something white enters my field of vision. I adjust my aim, the flashlight in my chest, with my hand and shining the light on it. The white figure appears, which stood over like an old woman. It looks like to have undergone a grotesque change. The monster has a very large hump on its back, which twitches and moves, as if it were alive. In one hand, it holds a knife, which it waves as it approaches. In an instant, I ready my gun. The monster began to run. By the time I realize this, it slashes at me. I instantly dodge the attack. Thanks to that, my clothes were slashed, and I had only a scratch on my side. I suppose I was lucky. Damn! I kick it in the face with the bottom of my shoe, and falls on its back. It then begins to stand for its next attack. I close my left eye, steady my aim, even after one shot. Its movement does not change it at all. Fire more bullets at it. It's laughing in a voice a great enough state to shake the entire world as it laughs at its face twisted and distorted. Maybe I should have ran. Do not give up. When the final bullet loaded into my gun, it hits it and finally stops laughing. This time it's face down and I begin crushing it with my foot. Finally it completely stops moving. This is insane! Another monster approaches from behind the corpse of the first one. At this rate, all the bullets in the world would not be enough. All I could do is run. Run past the monster behind me or in front of me? I run towards the monster in front of me, evading the large swings of a knife. I run down the dark corridor, occasionally stumbling. I see a staircase leading down. I race down it, not knowing whether if something is waiting for me or not at its base. I'm thinking about Cheryl. Even if she's held prisoner somewhere in this hospital, there's no guarantee that I can rescue here. In fact, there is no reason that the staircase I'm descending should lead me to Cheryl. I begin to think that all of my current actions are all meaningless. However, generally speaking, since I arrived in Silent Hill, since the day before leaving for Silent Hill, even longer, since the day I met Cheryl, perhaps I had no choice in my actions, that they had been determined by someone's will. As I continue to the basement, I contemplate, what if my life led up to the point I've just been on one track? As I descend the stairs, my ears began ringing again. The ringing is so fierce that it cannot even be compared to before, and it forced me to squat down. What in the world has happened? Perhaps I have opened a door to hell, a door that should never have been opened. Something is clearly changing, and it's for the worse. Going back will not be permitted. I must move forward. I put my hands on my head and then squeeze my temple tightly by using my elbows. The ringing then begins to sound like a demon is whispering in my ears. However, it doesn't stop. I blindly begin to run. Even if I am to die in this mad land, I must save my beloved Cheryl first, believing that the answer are beyond the door. Know that I must discover at least one clue. Several overlapping square figures are shaking in time, with a sound of heart. It is the wall at the end of the area. Another wall lies perpendicular to it. There is a door present on this wall with a plate on it that says storehouse. Some chemicals have been placed on the table that is next to the door. There are 3 beakers of different sizes and a testing tube. The test tube contains a liquid that is of a different color to which it is the leftmost. I found a memo. To create it, you must come up with 1 liter of liquid and pour it into a test tube. No more, no less, the man has said, but there are no graduations on the beakers. This makes it impossible to come up with one. Just 3 large beakers. Alright, cool. Use the D-pad to select the beaker that contains liquid and confirm with the A button. Then choose the beaker that you wish to move that liquid to, then press the A button to move the liquid. Well, Oh, I see. Hmm. So we need exactly one. This is definitely going to be a tricky one. No, I didn't mean to do that. I restarted. Crap. This is gonna suck. See, we have to get 9. Yeah, see, that would just make... See, that'd just be 5. And hey, look who's back at square one again. I'll be right back. Alright, there we go. Harry melted the chain on the door with the completed liquid. The door slowly opens with a clink. Inside the scorched house, nothing important looking stands out. I carefully edge between these simple metal shelves that have been placed here in a specific arrangement. However, nothing is here. That makes this room worthy of being called a storehouse. I'm drawn toward the cabinet of the house of the room. This is because I found the presence of the wooden cabinet in strange and unsettled use for the simple room. I approached the cabinet and tried to open it. However, it will not budge. Well, I will... I stood up straight and looked up on top of the cabinet. Other than a layer of dust so thick that it could almost appear as if a cloth had been laying on the cabinet, there is nothing of interest. Ah! My field of vision shakes violently. I lost balance and fell into the floor. I landed on my butt hard enough for it to be unpleasant. There, I discovered something odd. Countless lines have been bored into this old floor, and fiber exploded, and it seems as if someone had moved this cabinet and then returned it to its original position. The marks on the floor are still fresh. They tell me that some other human probably came down here. Using my body weight, I slowly pushed the cabinet from its original position. Naturally, so of course I placed my hand on it. Ugh. The room is inorganic. While shining my flashlight, I moved through the room and eventually discovered a grate in the floor. Between the bars and the grate, I could see a staircase that leads to a lower floor. The grate makes a clunk sound as I open it. It is quite heavy, even though I'm sure of my strength. I do not believe that I could pick it up. After opening the grate, not so that I can pass through it, I gently place one foot on the staircase that has appeared. Slowly and cautiously, confronting each step as I go, I descend the staircase to a mad place, which light cannot reach. Finally, I reach a wider room, much wider than I imagined. I guess it's based on the echoes of my footsteps. Run. I'm running throughout this eerie space that lies in the basement of the hospital. It is lifeless and there is no light. All I can do is run through it. Does this world have an end? Or did it even have a beginning? Everywhere I go, all that I do is solve the mysteries of that one appeared, the other, and then move on. I understand this and expect that the same situation will continue. Still, all I can do is move forward. My thinking always results in the conclusion. The door has awaited me. I slowly then turn the knob inside the room. It's different from the others I have encountered up to this point, and I can feel life in here. There are traces of a sense that someone was in this room. Softly picked up the picture frame that was displayed on the dresser. Wait, on the desk, my bad. Alyssa. That is engraved on the picture frame. In the picture. It is a face that I think I have seen somewhere. Try hard to remember where I can, but in the end, I cannot remember it at all. But I am sure that I have met this girl somewhere. And more than just once. A diary has been placed next to the picture frame. Let's pick up the picture. Alyssa. The name appears in a small engraving in the lower right of the picture. I read it aloud. The girl in the picture just looks at me with her gentle lips open in the way that makes it look as if she wants to say something. The face which I have in memory of seeing is especially pretty. This girl is in the middle of my senses. I went silent. To begin to return the picture frame to its original position, I noticed that something is written on the back. O2 4Y DNA. What is this? The incomprehensible letters has been scribbled there. A feeling of doubt runs through my chest. I remove the picture from the frame. I place it in the diary. There was sitting beside the picture frame. I then held the diary tightly under my arms and then left the room. 501. Hello? Hello? The phone had suddenly gone dead. She tried to call back right away. However, the call would not go through. Alyssa, just who is she? And why was her picture lit in the deep basement of the hospital? And where was that strange feeling of life that I'd sensed in the room coming from? I am unable to figure any of it out. So I'm irritated. I head for the examination room on the first floor. All the mysteries of the hospitals are surely prepared in that room. Believing so, I raced up the stairs while having difficulty breathing. When I open the door to the examination room, I feel the presence of a person and stop moving. The inside of the darkness, someone's here.